I love the first track on it. I love the second track because it's "Life Is Beautiful" and that's the one that got big off
Oh
that
yeah,
album.
that's the one that got huge off that
And
album.
then I skipped to "Accidents Can Happen" because that was the next song I know I knew all the lyrics to, and then I skipped right to fucking "Oh no, how could this happen
See,
to?"
I know pretty much my favorite ones were always like Courtesy Call,
Courtesy Call is such a good song.
Heart Failure.
Well, that's
We're talking about the Heroin Diary soundtrack, by the way, from 6 a.m.
yeah, which I had no idea was a soundtrack until much later in my life.
It's a soundtrack. Like I know it says it, but I thought that
It
was just
is.
like a
It's the
clever name.
soundtrack to his biography or autobiography, video
Oh,
biography, whatever the fuck it was.
I don't know that much
Heck,
about
it
6
was.
a.m.
Sorry. Neither do I. I just know it's the guy from Motley Crue, and he did. I believe it's a movie about his life, and the band formed because he wanted to score the soundtrack to his own movie. And then they were like everybody liked the Heroin Diary, so they kept making music together as like his side project. Have you ever seen a picture of them?
No.
On your Spotify right now, click on their album page, and then scroll down until you see a picture of all three of them on a white background.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
That's a choice.
Those are decisions. Which they have 928,686 monthly listeners. So they have made their choice and they should keep it. It's getting them what they need. I had no idea this was based around Motley Crue. I thought 6 a.m. was just some random band that I heard every now and again.
Well, just the bassist from Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx.
Ah, never knew that. That makes, wow, a whole bunch of sense.
Yeah, it was. My dad didn't really like that album, but because it came from a person from Motley Crue, he was like, "Oh, cool! My son is like one step adjacent to my music now."
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
That's adorable.
we both also really. I don't like a lot of classic rock albums, but I really like the Black Album from Metallica.
That's a good one to like. I mean, not bad.
Yeah, I wasn't really into like the thrash metal of like Ride the Lightning and shit. I'm still not. I don't really like the thrash metal genre, but I'm not really a metalhead anymore.
I don't listen to it as much as I used to, but I used to listen to it a lot more way back in the day. I have God, that was dry. I have elevated my music to more hip hop varieties.
Are you saying that hip hop is a higher echelon than metal? Is that what you're saying right now? Are you calling out all the metalheads?
Hey, the reason we were talking about that album when we first started talking about this is because my tasty jam of the week is Dead Man's Ballet from that album,
the Heroin
The
Diaries.
Heroin Diaries. I was like, I just had it up, and now
By 6 a.m.
I'm just seeing their picture, and I'm like, it's that. It's by them.
can't unsee
I
it.
can't unsee it. Very good song. I kind of want to know where it went in this movie now, because if all these songs are based around a movie, I want to see how that worked.
We could try to find that movie.
I might have to watch it, but I don't know anything about it, as you just heard me.
I mean, the
Tell
album.
the story about
the album
everything.
tells the story.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm pretty sure it's just it's that guy's life. It is a movie about that guy's life.
I think it's just very well scored. I think the lyrics are very beautiful. Everything is very well produced.
Yeah.
Nothing is out of place in that song. It's very. I could see it being danced like an actual ballet. So
Absolutely.
I kind of hope that's in the movie for some reason, but it's an autobiography, so I really doubt it.
I was gonna say when I was young, a very young songwriter, like 13, 14 years old, I still have my lyric books from back then. And I didn't know that I wrote raps back then, but I guess I wrote raps and other mostly acoustic shit. But I called because I was a cool emo kid, I like wrote volume 1 on my lyric book, and I was like, oh, that means I have to actually name it. And I used "Learn to Breathe" because I really liked that little like quote, and I couldn't remember, like, that part has stuck with me throughout my life, and I remember it because it was on the front of my like first lyric book and shit. But I didn't know where I got it from. You know where I got it from? 6 a.m. Specifically, a line in "Accidents Can Happen" that goes, "Take some time, learn to breathe." I was driving this morning because I was listening to that album this morning, and that line came on, and like I was driving and I had like an out of body experience. It just was like, Oh my god.
This is what I've been waiting for.
It's so weird when something like jogs a memory that's like buried so deep in your subconscious, and then
Hmm.
you when it hits you, it's like, oh wow.
It's surreal.
Yeah, right?
This is all stemming from the fact that when we tore down last week, we made some passing joke and sang like the hook to the beginning of the song. And we made fun of it for a second, and then it turns out 1 week later we have both listened to the entire album and that song multiple times.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys will like it, but go at least give that song a listen.
Give that album a listen. Like if you don't like the rest of their songs that have come out, I know they've come out with other music and they haven't been bad, but nothing has ever touched that album for
No,
me.
yeah.
Like I fully remember that album over anything else. What's your tasty jam there, Janie?
My tasty jam this week. So, in case you haven't seen it, System of a Down released 2 new songs this past weekend: "Genocidal Humanoids" and "Protect the Land." They're pretty good. Give them a listen. They're very reminiscent of the past work of System of a Down. You may like one more than the other, and if you don't, then you're wrong. But instead of those, I want to put my favorite System of a Down song on the playlist. We may lose some followers for this one,
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
terribly sorry. But it's "Vicinity of Obscenity," and it is very obscene. It is very what's the word I want to use? Not obscure. It's like eclectic.
If you were showing people System of a Down as a band, you wouldn't show them this song first. Is how I would how I would put it.
Oh, you would what?
How I would put it. Not gonna do that.
But yeah, go hop on the playlist, give it a listen. If you don't like it, just like
Now, why don't you give us a little bit of a description of it? Oh,
nope, you're really gonna have to just see it for yourself. I
Quentin
will say
Tarantino would love a part
this
in it.
one of the reasons I liked the song when I was growing up was because it was so different. It plays with the time signatures a lot, even with the chorus. Like the first chorus is in a particular time signature. Banana, 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 terracotta, terracotta pie. And then the second and third choruses that come in are more like segmented into 4/4, and it's banana, 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 terracotta, terracotta pie. So I really liked it because it played with the time signatures and it like defied what I thought of music at the time, and it broadened my horizons.
And to those of you who don't know, he wasn't making up the lyrics.
No, those were not mnemonic devices that like music teachers use, like watermelon, strawberry, pear.
What?
You don't remember that?
Never was taught that.
Oh, dude, to help teach kids like the different music notes and like how they fit into a time signature, you assign them fruits and vegetables. So like a triplet was strawberry, strawberry, and then a quarter note would be pear. I think there was another one for like I think 16th notes. It
Is
was
that why he's saying banana?
rutabaga, rutabaga. I don't think that's why he sang banana.
Okay, I was like,
but
that makes a lot of sense.
No, but I guess that also triggered a memory chain that I didn't think about in a long time.
Continuity.
Oh, damn it. It's up on the playlist. Go give it a listen when you can. When you can. No, go do it right now.
And then go listen to mine when you can.
Yeah, probably listen to his first.
Yeah.
This week we're trying our hands at a structured topic, a little bit off the wall, not our norm, but one of our specific listeners will like this a lot because you told us to stay on topic. Dice, what are we covering today?
Today we will be looking into the world of board games.
Board games.
Games that we love, games that we have grown to not like anymore, is how I'm going to put that before he goes on his rant. And maybe even a game we attempted to record one time and you will never see any of it because of the anger that has spilled over from that.
The reason that we got on this topic a little bit earlier was we were talking about the difference between Clue and Betrayal at House on a Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And even though the same element is present in both, that I hate them, I think one of them does it better. So Clue is a very simple game.
Are you saying you hate Betrayal?
No,
Okay.
I'm saying the opposite. I'm
Well, I know
just
you
saying
hate Clue. I'm just
I don't necessarily hate Clue. I
you hate
like
Clue.
I like the essence of Clue. I love me a good murder mystery. It holds my attention and it's like, oh, who done it? Who done it? And the actual act of like you had to oh, what were they called? Those puzzles
The
with the
sheets.
boxes and you
Well, they
were
weren't
given
puzzles, but
well, it is a puzzle. It's a logic puzzle. You know that this person doesn't do it in this room with this item, and based on which rooms you go to, you check off more of those boxes until you know what is in the envelope, who did it with what and where. And I loved that aspect of it. It's a strategy aspect. It's a logic game, and I loved those when I was younger, and I still do to this day. However, you can't move without rolling the dice. It's a roll the dice and move your mice. And I hated that because I have shit luck. I don't believe in like ghosts or like evil spirits and shit like that. But
this is
I
taking a
do
turn.
fully believe that I have the worst luck ever because my dice rolling is garbage. And I know this because my wife is so goddamn good at it. Every time she rolls doubles, high numbers on sixes. She rolls like a champ, and I roll like shite. And that's how I know that there's some cosmic force in the world that just chooses to fuck on some people and lift up others. You know how at the beginning of the game you can like of Fallout you can set your luck?
Yeah.
Mine's tanked.
I
And that is why I hate roll the dice, move your mice games because I never get to move fast enough and it's always a disadvantage to
It's
me.
so weird that you actively choose to play D&D. It is really weird to hear
Yeah,
you go
it
this hard
is.
about this and then you actively choose to play D&D.
I love the role playing aspect of it. I've always
That's
been a fan of RPGs, and even though it's a D20 system, there are other RPGs that don't employ as many dice or as much RNG.
I'm well aware of that. You
And
actively choose to play D&D. I don't care what the other ones do. You actively choose to play D&D.
yeah,
But yes, through the rants and the raves and the earlier version of this rant and rave that I had to hear,
which was longer. This one was abridged.
I am agreeing. I there that is the problem with a lot of the old board games that it is so simple as just roll the dice and move your mice as you have said 4 times, 3 in the podcast and then 1 in the earlier rant.
I'm pretty sure I said it 4 times in this podcast anyway.
Possibly. But I there's something about games also becoming too overcomplicated at some point because now I feel like it's either something by Hasbro, uh, which is just very basic premise, roll your dice, yay, we're playing a board game, hooray, everybody can, and that's the good part is kind of everybody can do it. Monopoly, everybody kind of hates it, but everybody can do it.
They don't always play by the right rules, but they can do it.
No, shut. Everybody has their own house rules at this
That's it.
point.
That's how it goes. It's fine.
Which is just to prevent a little bit less chance of the board being flipped before the end of the night and
Yeah.
friendships kind of remaining.
If they played by the actual written rules, the game will not finish.
The game would never be played again.
No.
So I feel like it falls to either side now that it's either it's as easy as Hasbro like Monopoly or it's as complicated as something like Betrayal can even be too complicated to some people.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of all the reading aspects and all the different things that you have to do with it. All the dice rolls can seem intimidating to a lot of people. It's not a game you can just get in and play.
That being said,
I'm also starting to hate all the games that are just knockoffs of Cards Against Humanity.
oh yeah, oh you haven't already hated
Please
that.
stop. I there was one I just played. I think it was who new number who dis, and it's just text messages Card Against Humanity, and I was like, bro, this is so dumb now at this point.
Yeah, no, it all started with apples to apples.
It did in Apples to Apple, and then Cards Against Humanity made it funny because it was like, "Ha, offensive things,
Yeah.
we did it," and then everybody was like, "Everybody likes offensive things," and I was like,
It just
"It's
blew
done.
The floodgates open.
It's done already. We've done offensive things."
That being said, there are some
Where's my hentai dictionary update? That's the one I want.
really old games that bridge the gap between accessibility and what's the other word we want? Complexity. Amanda and I will play the board games, 51 Clubhouse games every once in a while, and one of the games that we really like is I think it's Go.
Mhm.
If you know what that is, with the black and white like little chits, and you have to make 5 in a row. It's like Connect 4, but it's Connect 5 on a big board.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those games that's accessible enough, like anybody can understand the point of this game is to line up 5 of your color in any direction.
Yeah.
But there is the extra level of complexity where if you play it enough, you learn that, oh, if I start my first move here in the center, and no matter where my opponent puts their next piece, I can already start devising, like, if I want to start building up and down or sideways, or if I want to make a whole
You get
new
an
piece
extra layer
somewhere
of
else.
strategy at some point.
Exactly, and that's what I love about that game. There are some of the very old games that are very strategical that are easy to learn.
Yes.
You could say the same about checkers, but I hate checkers. I don't know why. I just hate checkers.
That's fair, but it is an easy yet strategic game, and then even slightly harder is chess.
Yeah, but I mean that also kind of goes like with any sort of entertainment. The early
I'm talking about my argument was for newer games, I guess. Just like every game that comes out, if it's from one of us, it's going to be something too complicated for, say, Dot to play. But
Yeah.
anything that Dot is
on the
interested
first
in,
try.
yeah, anything Dot is interested in is probably going to bore the crap out of us just because of how simplistic it is.
Mhm.
Because now I've become so accustomed to, as soon as somebody's like, hey, let's play a board game, I'm like, all right, I need to set aside like 3 to 4 hours of my time to get down, learn how to play this game while also strategizing how to beat all the people at this table who've played this game multiple times with me, with
Mhm.
other people. And that's where I am complaining about, I guess.
Yeah,
There
and
is no like checkers type game coming out anymore.
there are, but you just don't know about it because you don't look for those kind of games anymore.
That's fair.
They're
I don't look for any games. My friend finds games.
Yeah, that's fair
I
as
am
well.
not the board game guy. I just play them.
What I was trying to say earlier was the earlier on you are in any form of entertainment, the more simple it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you start on a simple baseline and then you have kids who grow up with those games and then you're like, ooh, what if I did this game but did this rule instead? And then they make their own game and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of a sudden we have Gloomhaven and we have what's the one game I'm thinking of? Not Terraforming Mars. It's a space game that takes like 8 hours to complete. I'm gonna look at the name real quick.
Okay. I do not know of a game that takes 8 hours to complete. Is
I
that
bet
the
I
one?
can find it with space super long board game. I got it with the second page, Twilight Imperium.
Is that the one you and the guys were playing the other day?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I have never played Twilight Imperium. I don't want to. The average playing time is 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, that's about what I said.
But it's a very, very, very complex game.
That's fair.
So,
I would
like-
never play things like 40K Warhammer and all that.
No.
I appreciate anybody who does it. If you take the time, paint those miniatures, and do all the war setups and do all that stuff, good job. I've seen game stores. I've went into like well, I won't, I guess, give specific ones, but I went into the one in Monroeville, and I saw 5 to 10 dudes around a table, armies around this huge table that had different terrain all built up, and I was at a Magic tournament and they spent hours playing the same game. I kept walking over and trying to just get an idea of what was going on. Way too complicated for me, but wow, the commitment it takes to play that and the money it must take to play that game.
Yeah.
Because they were all like hand painted, and I was like, wow, I don't have that kind of attention span. Whoo, doggy.
Nope.
But yeah, unless it's games like that, I believe it's only like 3 to 4 hours usually.
Well, in 3 to 4 hours, you normally get multiple plays out of a game that we play. Some of my favorite games be like Betrayal. Betrayal takes an hour to 2 hours at most.
I was to say Betrayal is by the end of Betrayal, I'm usually like, please, can we end this house?
Yeah. Smash Up, 45-minute playtime.
Sm-
Maybe an hour if you're playing real sluggish, but when we play that game, we know what we're doing and we fly through it in like 45 minutes.
When I was learning, it probably took an hour because I was trying to figure out things. Now that me, you, and Amanda know everything, we just fly through that game. It's just a matter of beating points faster now.
Yeah. One of my new favorite game, Photosynthesis, is over in half an hour.
That game is super. Photosynthesis is really good if you haven't played it before.
Yeah,
that is pretty simple. It is
it
a
is-
pretty simple game.
Photosynthesis is a wonderful example of a simple premise that employs enough strategy that it is fun for me.
I would call that a new type of checkers. That is a fun game.
Yeah. If anything would come out of this to be like, if I had to recommend a board game for you to look at, go watch Photosynthesis. Um, some really good board game reviewers, the Dice Tower normally has really good reviews for board games. Highly recommend checking them out because I do not buy a board game unless I watch somebody else play it first.
That's fair. That is a fair way to look at
Because
stuff.
I have seen games and I'm like, oh, that looks so cool, and then I watch a reviewer do like a first 3 turn playthrough, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. But Photosynthesis is wonderful. Highly recommend it.
Oh,
Are you yawning on the podcast?
yeah, I've been.
This isn't a yawn cast. This is John cast. So get the Johnny out of your mouth and speak into the mic. I don't know what that was. I'm sorry.
We've already mentioned my favorite game as of recently in Smash Up. Smash Up is up to 4 players, but I believe there's a way to add more. Come on, there's got to be a way to add more.
There, you can play with more people. The turns get so long and drawn out that a base can score. Not to get too technical with what the game actually is, but if you play with 5 people, a base can score before the 5th person even gets a chance to play anything.
That's fair. It's a 4-player game with a bunch of different expansions, and all it is you get tribe-based decks, and you pick 2 of them, slap them together, and you have a deck playing game that is no longer a building game, and all you're trying to do is play monsters and spells on bases to accumulate points. Really simple, but with every expansion, and even in the base form itself, there is so many different strategies you can incorporate by different combinations of decks. Super fun, and I am selfishly probably going to buy him expansions for his birthday because he knows I'll come over and play with him anyway.
Aw, I love it. I've already picked out what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Oh, have you?
Mhm.
I haven't even thought about Christmas yet.
I'll give you the hint that half of it is something I already own, and then the other half is something I have to buy. But they go together.
Oh, well, that's really complicated.
Yeah, chew on that for a while.
Yeah, that's really complicated. Do I get one of your dogs?
Absolutely
I
not.
would love Hooch.
No, you can never have Hooch.
That's fair.
Archer, I would part
loves
with.
Archer loves me more. Oh,
He
come
does.
on. I stay over for a day and Archer's on my lap all night.
Hooch is me, and Archer is more you than me, but I wouldn't say Archer is you, because Archer
Why? Because he's the shortest and just full of energy and anger and riled up all the time. And I hate you. I hate you for this because I'm just showing it now.
Well, I was gonna say because he's more annoying, but
Oh, that's fair.
no, you know what? Archer is more needy.
Of the 2, I am more annoying. Needy?
Yeah, Archer is needy.
I'm more
You-
needy than you? Is that what you're trying to say? Because I'd
No,
fight
I'm
that
saying that's why you're not like my other
Okay.
dog.
one. Okay, I was like, I'd fight that one a
Like
little bit.
that's
I'd
what
fight.
I'm saying. Like Archer is way too needy. He always needs the attention and spotlight on him. You like the attention and spotlight on you, but you don't annoy the shit out of people for it. When you're in it, you relish it though.
Yes, give me it back. Little off topic, but so we have gone over our favorite board games. We have complained about old board games that you no longer like. We ready to talk about the one that will never be aired?
No. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
So we were testing out the GoPro shots, and
No, we weren't.
Salty Talks 4 was supposed to be shot, but it was raining outside, which we didn't account for. So we decided that we would try some board games.
Thanks for saying we didn't account for. I appreciate that.
No, it's cool.
That makes me feel better.
We didn't account for it. It's okay. We all should have known. We all should have known. Our group is super reliable in that aspect. Anyway, we were setting up to do a board game shoot with. Do you know what the name of the game Getty had was?
Slay something.
It's a new game he got
Here
off,
to slay.
Here to Slay, and it was a new
I was
game
like,
he
not
got.
slay the spire, not slay the spire.
It's a new game he got off Kickstarter. He was super excited about it. It was a fun game that we can't show you because we were testing out our new GoPro that you've already seen in action and see how we've gotten it to work. And it's because of this day that we learned about all the problems that thing has.
If you haven't seen it in action, be sure to check out Salty Talks 4 up now on YouTube.
Also, this isn't Jayne here.
What do you mean?
I don't know. So we set it up in like a bird's eye view type shot above the office, and the angles weren't bad. I just found the footage the other day, ironically.
Yeah, the angles were fine.
Everything was pretty well fine, except every 5 seconds, because we were trying to shoot for over 4 hours of shooting length in 4K.
Mm-hmm.
every 5 minutes the GoPro would just overheat and completely crap out on us. So turns would be missed. Everything would be what? I was like, you just keep staring at something.
No,
It's
I'm watching the levels. That's all.
making me paranoid.
No, I'm just watching the levels. I'm being a good audio engineer.
Anxiety is peaking.
I'm sorry, but what he was saying was like he said, entire turns got missed. Not only was the GoPro constantly overheating and the video card was filling up so fast. I'm pretty sure I had my no, not 128. I had my 64 gigabyte card in there, and we had to like offload it onto my laptop twice.
And offloading it took at least 45 minutes.
Yeah, not only that, but I had bought an external power battery for my camera, my DSLR camera, so you can just plug it into the wall and it would shoot continuously. But that cord wasn't working. I found out why it wasn't working since then, and now it does work. But at the time, I just thought the cord was busted because at that point I was already pretty pissed off about the GoPro.
We had recently taken under a slogan that is everything always happens on Tuesday,
Everything happens on a Tuesday, man.
which is usually everything goes wrong. And recently we have started shooting the big salty stuff on Tuesdays. If you haven't seen, we no longer have the Wednesday all together, guys. We have the Tuesday shots now. So everything keeps going wrong on Tuesdays. So anytime a recording seems rough, or anytime we're like, hey, we're trying to bring you this, and then all of a sudden that thing has disappeared, probably because something went wrong on a Tuesday.
I really want there now to be a shirt. It just says Tuesdays on the top, and it's a picture of you, over like superimposed onto Garfield.
Why?
And instead of lasagna, you have a video game controller next to you. Because Garfield hates Mondays and you hate Tuesdays.
Maybe we can talk to Establishment for Human Goods.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we could do it.
If you guys want to see some sweet merch, what would you rock from the 421?
We have a slogan now.
We could get some pins, like little enamel pins. We could get we're working on some stuff for other stuff. What are you doing? Now you're making me anxious.
No, I'm sorry. You reminded me of a story, but I can't tell it on here.
Cool.
Clean cut.
What are some of y'all's favorite board games? Drop them down in the comments. We'll let you know if we played them, what we think about them. If we haven't played them, and it's something I look up the video and see a like 3-turn playthrough for, and I'm like, ooh, I would play that. I'll probably end up picking it up, and then we can talk about it a little more because I mostly play board games with you.
Maybe we can try again at a board game recording now that we understand a little bit better.
A board game recording would be a pretty big shoot, even though it doesn't seem like it.
It would. Oh, it is a very big shoot, and I appreciate anybody who has shot one of these now.
I have another great place to watch tabletop games is what was Will Wheaton's show? I think it was just called Tabletop.
Probably.
But Will Wheaton describes the game and has some like celebrity guest stars on there. He's had Nathan Fillion, Erika Ishii. Felicia Day was a really big part of it because it was hosted on the Geek and Sundry YouTube. So that's another great resource. I recommend checking out the Dice Tower for more not clinical board game reviews, but clinical board game reviews, and Tabletop if you want to get the gist of the game.
Make sure you're subscribed down below. Hit the like button. Comment your favorite game. We are out.
Peace.
Peace.